hell are you supposed to be? I'm vengeance. Welcome to the Pixel Pop Movie Podcast. I'm your host this episode, Toby. With me as always, I'm joined by the hides in the shadows and never reveals his true identity, Ethan.
Yeah, it's me. I'm in the shadows all the time. Yeah.
Sucked in, his identity got revealed. Haha.
Ah, fuck.
And the has been serving 3 generations of the Wayne family, Lucas.
As you wish. Sorry, wrong movie.
Wrong movie. Our topic of conversation for this episode is going to be DC, since we recently had the DC. What was the event called, Ethan?
FanDome.
The FanDome. So we obviously had a number of trailers. There's some really juicy stuff. We've definitely got some theories, some ideas. So we're going to save that until the second half of this podcast, where we're going to sort of go through all that material. It's been 3 weeks, and things have really started to pick up again. So we do actually have quite a good chunk of news, rumours, gossip, that sort of stuff to get through. We've also got a couple of spoiler-free reviews of TENET we're going to sort of read that I've gotten from other team members on the Pixel Pop team. So fair bit for you in this episode. So whatever it is you're doing while you're listening, make sure you're comfortable and relaxed. But let's start with the news. Please take us away, Ethan.
So apparently there's some rumors going around about Disney to launch a new streaming service internationally. It'll include content from ABC, FX, Freeform, and Searchlight, and 20th Century Studios. So this could be where all the R-rated stuff and adult-targeted content will go rather than Disney Plus.
So, well, this sounds like it'll just be Hulu International.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Because that's what's on Hulu. That's interesting though, because as it stands right now, Foxtel have the FX contract. So, they have like Walking Dead and Sons of Anarchy, all that kind of stuff, Archer. So that's going to be really interesting. I wonder what they're going to do though, because again, ABC contract is with Channel 7. So this is going to rob a lot of television off television.
Well,
if they're going to put it onto a streaming service.
Yeah, I mean, Australia's arguably 2% of the world or something tiny, so I mean, they may just go, whatevs, existing contracts. Or, we've seen them rip contracts out of Netflix, I mean.
Yeah, Stan lost the Disney deal.
Yeah, so, you never know. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. Interesting, though. Interesting. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
While we're on that subject, too, because you mentioned it last podcast, Ethan, yes, Shudder is available in Australia, too, now, so... if you're interested in horror, there's some great stuff on there. I had a quick look around.
Didn't it just drop?
Last week or the week before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was after we recorded though.
Yeah. There's quite a bit of original and exclusive content on there too. So again, if you're a real lover of horror, available now.
Next we have live action Mulan is going to skip theaters and will land on Disney Plus for $30. So including your subscription cost, pay $30. But I think you get to keep it. If you pay the $30, it's on your Disney Plus.
No, I don't think you do. I think it's rental.
Ah.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I didn't really fully look into it, but from what I heard, it was rental. From what I heard, it was rental, and then it will come to Disney Plus, quote unquote, for everyone else, in 6 months.
No, it's not rental.
It's not. You actually add it to your library.
Yeah.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
Kind of like Amazon, I guess, where they're selling movies now.
Yeah.
As well as their stream, yeah. I guess they've got to recoup their losses, but it's kind of telling, I think, in a way, because, I mean, we do have cinemas starting to open up again now.
Yeah.
The last Disney movie that was meant to go to cinema and didn't was Artemis Fowl, and that was terrible as well, so I hope that's not the case with Mulan, but wait and see.
Next we have Nia DaCosta, who is directing the Candyman reboot that comes out, I think it's next year now, is going to direct Captain Marvel 2. She is taking over from Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck, who directed the first one.
Nice.
Following on from that, Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck are rumoured to be the frontrunners to direct the Ms. Marvel show for Disney Plus.
Oh, okay, cool. So you get some continuity there, I suppose.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's a Ren and Stimpy reboot coming to Comedy Central.
Yeah, this is weird. But anyway.
Actual Ren and Stimpy are getting their own movie?
No, series.
Yeah, because it wasn't the first time.
Okay, sorry.
There was was it Adult Swim? There was an Adult Swim Ren and Stimpy that Crick Falusi did, but it only got about 3 episodes before it got taken down, and it was way more graphic than the original Ren and Stimpy. This is probably, and I was going to touch on this because I did watch that Happy Happy Joy Joy movie. This is, I would imagine, going to be completely independent of Crick Falusi, and is probably going to be a little more dialed down, but probably it's going to be hard because a lot of the reason why the original Ren and Stimpy was so good was because it pushed boundaries that kind of shocked people a little bit, and that wouldn't necessarily work today the same way because of, you know, things like South Park and all that and Drawn Together.
Yeah.
So I'm not, as a Ren and Stimpy fan, it's cool, but I'm not expecting much.
Next we have Tom Hanks is being eyed to play Geppetto, is that how you say it? And Robert Zemeckis' Pinocchio movie?
Yep.
So he's the guy
that
who
works.
did Pinocchio and that, yeah. Tom Hanks is up for the role of him. Robert Zemeckis is directing it for the live-action Disney, yeah.
Yeah, that works.
Following on from that, while we're talking about Pinocchio, Guillermo del Toro has cast Cate Blanchett and Tilda Swinton in his Pinocchio movie. I think it's stop motion. I think his one. And it's like, obviously, it's Guillermo del Toro, so it'll be like, you know...
Scary as fucking horrifying and it'll traumatize small children.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen Pan's Labyrinth, right?
Yeah. It's a stop motion animated musical.
Okay, that's interesting.
Cate Blanchett, Tilda Swinton, Christoph Waltz, Ewan McGregor, David Bradley.
Wow.
Ron Perlman, of course. You couldn't have a
Gilmore film with him, yeah. Well, that's a big cast.
Tim Blake Nelson, Bern Gorman, and John Turturro.
That is a big cast.
It's also coming straight to Netflix as well.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Cinema straight to Netflix. Apparently, there's a Who's the Boss sequel show.
Yeah. This
Tony
is bizarre.
Milano coming?
This is before your time, so I don't expect you to have any idea. So back in the 80s, I think it was Alyssa Milano's first acting gig, or at least her first big acting gig, and she starred in a show, called Who's the Boss? So it's father and son, and they move into a well-to-do house, and he's sort of like the well, not a butler, but he cooks and looks after the house and that sort of stuff, and there's a bit of a nanny and these sorts of things, and it was kind of funny. It had some good moments. It had the romantic tension and all that sort of stuff. But Tony Danza, after that, didn't do much else. He's actually a teacher, or he went to be a professor or something, or at sort of American college, like high school or whatever. He's like a high school teacher. And got on with his life and sort of faded into anonymity. And now they're talking about bringing the show back after 30 years or something. And he's looking to reprise his role. So we've really got some rose-tinted glasses for 80s stuff at the moment. Like, Hollywood is just digging up anything it can get its hands on that's got 80s written on it.
Also consider, hey, what can we pump out that we don't have to put a whole lot of work and thought into during all this COVID shit?
Yeah. So it's very interesting, because when Alyssa Milano was like 16 or 17 when this thing was made, now she's like, because she's like my age or a bit older, so don't know what's gonna. Oh, yeah, interesting. I don't know. I can't imagine I'm really gonna watch it. I didn't watch like Fuller House or anything. But anyway.
John Wick 5 has been announced, and we'll film back to back with John Wick 4 early next year.
Lucas has gone strangely quiet.
Yeah, no, didn't they announce this a while ago? I feel like we already knew this.
No. Well, when year 4 was coming, they announced 5. Like 2 weeks ago.
Didn't they do...
We haven't talked about it since then.
No, 4. Yeah, it was 4. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, more Keanu kicking people in the bottom. I'm cool. I'm happy with it. I can't wait.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, they're just waiting to finish Matrix pretty much, which Lawrence Fishburne has also come out and said that he was not talked to or asked to come back for Matrix. But he wishes them well.
Some good news for Ethan. I mean, we kind of hoped this was happening, but some good news for Ethan.
Tron 3 has been confirmed with Jared Leto. And the thing with this is, so Jared Leto originally did a whole post saying Tron 3 was coming, but he also revealed what the title was, which he then deleted the post and then he put up a new one.
Mm-hmm.
And it is Tron 3 Ares.
Ares, yeah.
I think it was back in 2017 when news first broke that Jared Leto was eyeing a next Tron movie. They said that his character was going to be called Ares back then, so that's most likely what it's about.
Yeah. Doesn't sound like you're going to get Olivia Wilde back, though, does it?
Olivia Wilde has pretty much said that she's not coming back, unfortunately.
Funnily enough, I think there's news around Olivia Wilde that we could drop.
Yeah, talk about that right now. That is, Olivia Wilde has been tapped to direct a secret Marvel film project revolving around a female character. Now, the original post...
Yeah, I was about to say, on Twitter... Hey?
The big rumor is that she's doing that. It's Spider-Woman's the character. Originally, it said that it was a movie for Sony, but Josh Gad tweeted at her and tagged Marvel Studios in it, and then she
Put
didn't
up a
correct him.
picture. She put a picture up of a spider, like the Spider-Man logo.
So there's no confirmation if it's a Sony one or if it's Marvel Studios. We don't know. It is produced by Amy Pascal, I think.
You would think with her putting the Spider-Man logo up, it's going to be a Sony movie for sure.
Yeah, but we don't know what their deal is with Sony and Marvel. It could be. Next we have The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is going to be rebooted as a drama, thanks to a guy, I think he put it out on YouTube last year, of a sort of fake trailer for like a reboot for it, and obviously got the attention of Will Smith, and he's set to produce it, I think it is, and yeah.
Oh look, another 80s TV show that's being resurrected.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez. I think Lucas responded to that one, appropriately. Just why?
Yeah, no thanks. Like,
yeah, leave it alone.
It doesn't need it. Like,
no, it doesn't.
Now that I think about it,
I sat through and watched the whole thing again last year, and it was still absolutely entertaining and enjoyable.
If I tell you what, though, you know what? I've actually come around to it. It popped in my head. Think of what's going on in America right now.
It's a Black Lives Matter kind of issue.
Yeah, like think of everything that's going on. Imagine that show recontextualized to 2020, in that a rich black family who has all this money, all this wealth, all this like power, I guess you could say, having to.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. Yeah, if you've taken it in a completely different direction.
Lived it rough on the streets. And, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm actually starting to come around to the idea.
Yeah, I suppose if you're trying to remake it as a comedy and as it was, and you're going to recast Will Smith as, the next up-and-comer, that would be shit. But if you're going to take it in a completely different direction with a completely different sort of story and I guess moral message, that I could get behind for sure. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, initially I'm like, because I'm just like, Fresh Prince is already great. Why do we need another one? And then I didn't really think about it, I guess, until right now when I'm like, what could they even do it around? And I'm like, what the fuck's going on in America right now? Like, yeah. If you recontextualized it to what's happening in today's society, even back then it was very like there were obviously big moments in it with like Will and his dad and what was it? Carlton has the gun. And that type of stuff, and like the show,
it definitely touched on things.
It touched on social issues back in the 80s. That while it was presented as a comedy, there were dramatic elements to it.
Yeah, definitely.
But it sounds like they're going to be going the hard route as in like straight up drama. But yeah, you know what? I'm turned.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
I think it could be. I think it could work.
Next, let's get into some trailers. We have a trailer for The Devil All the Time.
Devil All the Time, yeah.
This is the Tom Holland R-Pats one, right?
Yep. I just watched the trailer now while you guys were talking. I'm pretty keen on watching that, to be honest.
Yeah, this looks insane, man. But it's
there's a few other good names in there as well. Yeah,
I was about to say it's from memory. It had a stacked cast, but I can't remember who was in it. I remember seeing it like the trailer when it first came out, and then I just remember Tom Holland and R-Pats, but I can't remember anyone else that was in it.
Tom Holland, Riley Keough, Bill Skarsgård, Jason Isaac, Mia Wasikowska, Robert Pattinson, Sebastian Stan.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my god, Sebastian Stan almost looks unrecognizable.
Yeah, he's the copper.
I honestly did not even recognize him until like I kind of looked at him funny. I'm like, that looks like Winter Soldier.
It's also produced by Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, yep.
With his production company. That's out September 16th on Netflix.
Cool.
One that I'm pretty keen for, and that's a HBO Max series called Raised by Wolves from Ridley Scott.
Werewolves.
It's not werewolves.
You sure?
I'm pretty positive. Did you watch a trailer for it? Any of you or no?
I didn't.
Did. I'm just trying to remember what it was, but I think I did.
It's the robots looking after the kids on the alien planet.
Maybe not. I don't know.
It's been androids, father and mother tasked with raising human children on a mysterious new planet after the Earth was destroyed by a great war. As the burgeoning colony of humans threatens to be torn apart by religious differences, the androids learn that confirming the beliefs of humans is a treacherous and difficult task. The only well-known person in the show is Travis Fimmel. That's it.
Okay.
That's the guy from Vikings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Next we had a trailer for Death on the Nile.
Yeah, keen.
Oh
keen.
man, yeah, 100%. I don't
Hercule
even.
Poirot.
All I needed to see was the name Death on the Nile, and that was it. I've already got a ticket.
I didn't watch fucking Murder on the Orient. It's not my sort of thing, really.
It is very.
This one's a miss from.
Don't watch it then.
Yeah, no, because he won't watch it now.
No, that's fine. He doesn't have to. I mean, he doesn't have to like everything we like. That's cool. I enjoyed it. I thought it was quite good. But yeah, it's probably a bit slow for Ethan.
I mean, the cast though.
The cast is solid.
Like that's like a
Yeah,
But,
well, you'll know it or not. You'll sit down one day, and I think for you'll just have to be in the right mindset, the right mood to watch something with a little bit slower but more character. That'd be a good one to watch.
Yeah.
Anyway,
next we have On the Rocks. It says Bill Murray in it, so I'm not watching it. But Toby.
Oh, I didn't watch the
really
trailer
good.
for this. I was actually heading out shopping when Toby sent this out.
okay, so essentially, Bill Murray.
About it.
And I can't remember the female lead. Her name. Sorry.
Rashida Jones.
Yeah. So Murray's character is her father, and he suspects that her partner is having an affair, and it's almost like a romantic comedy, but in so much that it's most of the movie is going to be a father and daughter story, and sort of, I guess, looking at their relationship and all the rest of it, and then. Yeah, it's a romantic comedy, but rather than being between the husband and wife or the two potential lovers, it sort of seems to be more about, the father and the daughter. But yeah, it looked good. It looked good. It wasn't sort of, it's actually not slapstick comedy, but it's probably going to be ultimately one of those feel-good movies too. So, yeah, I'll probably, it's the sort of thing I'd sit down and watch with the wife, and I think I'd probably enjoy it. It's got something for me and something for her,
Next we have the movie You All Never Knew You Wanted. But there is a Cyberpunk 47 Ronin movie set 300 years in the future.
What the fuck?
You watch 47 Ronin with Keanu Reeves?
So good. I actually really liked it. Like,
It's bad, yeah.
It's a little cheesy, but I really liked it.
The movie will be set 300 years into the future, an exotic cyberpunk world. The new movie will reportedly be a fresh, reimagined take on the original feature and will incorporate horror along with modern samurai and ninja elements.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know why, but yeah, fuck it, why not? Cyberpunk's fucking popular. Keanu was in it. There's going to be a Cyberpunk 2077. Why not?
Okay.
Tig Notaro has joined the cast of Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. She is replacing Chris D'Elia's role, and they'll be pretty much working from a remote location and green screening her in the film to replace him.
Okay, why did he leave? We're not allowed to talk about that, or
bad stuff. Very, very bad stuff.
Okay, he was
bad stuff.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Right, cool. Out with him then.
So out with him, yeah. It's
cool,
for Netflix.
though, like-
I think it's out this year. I think the movie. So
Yeah, it's supposed to. Well, it was supposed to be out in
Yeah.
October, so they may have to push it back if they're putting Tig in.
Yeah.
That's gonna be really. That's gonna be really weird though, because imagine like all those characters are talking to Chris D'Elia's character, but they're not actually talking to that character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's gonna be weird.
Yeah,
But
this is
we'll
gonna be
see.
really interesting to see. It's gonna be really interesting to see like if this sort of thing happens in the future with other roles.
We have The Crown. Do you two watch The Crown? You watch The Crown, don't you, Toby?
I do not, no.
No, only do you watch The Crown, Lucas?
I want to start. It looks really good.
Well, Elizabeth Debicki's been cast as Princess Diana for season 5 and 6.
That's really good casting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep,
it is.
I'm for that.
Next, we have a Firewatch movie is in development.
Yeah, I don't have a massive problem with that. I mean, the game, if you play it from beginning to end, is probably only about 4 hours long anyway. And
Yeah, you're in there.
they're going to probably cut out a lot of the because there's obviously a lot of walking, and during that time, some of that walking, there's no dialogue, so they'll probably cut out a lot of that. It probably won't make such a bad movie, to be honest. You know, it's sort of, it's not quite a romance, but it's also got some interesting psychological stuff in there as well. Yeah, I could watch it for sure.
Whether or not they'll keep it, faithful to the game or change it up a bit.
Yeah, either.
I mean, with how it is, you might need to change it up a bit to make it a bit more exciting.
Yeah, maybe. No, yeah.
It has also been confirmed that Stranger Things will go beyond season 4.
Wasn't it always talked about there was meant to be 5 seasons?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
No, so Duffer Brothers said a while ago that they had basically pitched the show as a 4-season show.
Right. Okay.
It was supposed to be 4 seasons of 8 episodes apiece, but then that's why season 2 was stretched into 9. It was actually Netflix's request to make an additional episode. But what's really interesting as well is like not only has it been confirmed that they're going to go to at least a season 5, they also confirmed that season 4 is going to have 9 episodes again. But they said they're not doing an ad episode. It was that they didn't have enough time to tell the story.
Right.
So rather than basically getting that whole episode where 11 goes to Chicago and you take that episode out and you would get the same story.
Yeah.
We're actually going to get an episode that will fit in.
Right. Okay.
And season 4 won't be out until next year due to COVID. They've had to suspend production on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was rumors they could possibly be dropping a Christmas episode as well.
Yeah, that's been on for a while because
I was going to say that's been going on for a long time.
could be. So next we have the Exorcist reboot is apparently coming to theaters next year.
Yeah, this is interesting. I'd need to get a second source to verify on this one. I'm not super familiar with that site, but yeah, if true, that's really interesting. Sorry?
Flash films Johnny Wright, but it was Deadline. Deadline was the one that came that said it. Deadline's generally fucking reliable as all hell.
Okay, all right. Well, that's really interesting then. I'm not sure how it's going to play to a modern audience because I mean, we all saw the Nightmare on Elm Street reboot, and I thought it wasn't bad, but it wasn't for me as good as it didn't have the same impact as the original back in the day. And you know, Exorcist was incredibly shocking back in the day. I'm not sure how well it's going to translate today. The other thing is too, I mean, I can't speak for North America, but certainly in Australia, I would argue we're perhaps, I don't know, I'm deviating here, but are we as religious as we were 30, 40 years ago? I mean, is the concept of the devil, the devil 40 years ago was a lot scarier than the devil today, I think. So I'm not sure how much of a social impact it's going to have. I mean, the original had a huge social impact, so I will wait tentatively, I guess, on this one.
It's interesting too because did you ever see like the Exorcist TV show?
No, I've only watched the 2 movies.
So they did an Exorcist TV show, which was kind of like a prequel in a way. And it was really good. Like it kind of didn't tread on the toes of the original films. It was very much its own thing while being respectful of the source material. So like, and that shit was scary, man. Like there was like some Insidious style scares. But yeah, like the fact that they're going to kind of go full budget and do a feature and reboot as well, like that's really interesting.
Next we have Sacha Baron Cohen has been seen filming something dressed up as Warren.
Yeah. It could be a TV commercial, could be a new movie, could be a TV show.
Extremely hard to do anything as Borat because he is so fucking well known.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I mentioned TV commercial because trying to trick someone with the Borat would be really difficult now. And of course, Borat hasn't come out for quite a while. I mean, and even beyond that, Sacha Baron Cohen's kind of moved on a little bit from that humour. I kind of suspect it's a TV commercial, but I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah. We also have Netflix has announced the Volume 2 of the first season of Unsolved Mysteries will come out on October 19th.
Very excited. The first 6 were amazing.
It was enjoyable.
And our last bit of news here is that Marvel's Kraven the Hunter movie at Sony has Triple Frontiers JC Chandor as its director.
Okay.
So yeah.
Cool.
I haven't seen Triple Frontier. I've heard it's good though.
Yeah. So that's the last of it.
That's the regular non-DC news. Yeah. Okay. So let's touch on what we've been watching recently. How about yourself, Lucas? What have you been watching in the last 3 weeks? So
Mrs. hasn't seen like almost any of the X-Men movies. She's only really seen Deadpool 2 and Logan. So we've been going through and my God, I had to watch Wolverine again.
Ha.
Oh my God, I wanted to fucking rip my eyes out.
And Origins.
Yeah, that's the one I mean. Yeah,
Origins. Yeah.
The Wolverine, I think, is the most underrated X-Men movie out there. I think that movie is fantastic.
So you enjoyed the Deadpool scene at the end of that? Of course, that was enjoyable for you.
What at the end of Origins?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to rip my eyes out again.
Yeah, that's alright.
Even just sitting there, and she was like,
just remember the Deadpool 2 post-credit scene, and you'll feel better.
That's exactly what I was doing the whole way. I was just shooting himself in the head.
Yeah.
So we watched that. We finished I'll Be Gone in the Dark, and my God, that was amazing. Mm-hmm. Definitely recommend people watch that. That's the one of the series about the Golden State Killer who was just put
on
away
binge.
over the weekend. Yeah, it's all 6 episodes are on binge. So
yeah.
Man, that story is just heartbreaking. What else have we watched? Can't really think of anything else. But it mainly just been X-Men and I'll Be Gone in the Dark.
I don't want to ask Ethan because he's just going to say he's been watching Skyline.
I won't say I've been watching Skyline.
What else?
He's been watching Skyline too.
What have you been watching, Ethan?
I'm watching Archer.
Archer? Okay, yep.
Watching a bit of Umbrella Academy, still trying to finish the first season. I watched the first Ninja Turtles remake, the live action one.
Nice.
I watched Forrest Gump.
Mm-hmm.
I started watching Spawn. I got like half an hour in and I fell asleep.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yep.
And then I watched Beyond Skyline.
Of course, there it is.
There, you're all waiting for it.
You are a fucking disgusting human being, and you should be ashamed. Well, I watched the Ren and Stimpy documentary that we mentioned last podcast, Happy Happy Joy Joy, and I knew most of what was in that. I learned a few extra bits. It was quite interesting. I actually walked away. I think what no one addressed is I think that the guy's actually got a condition. Like, he strikes me as, like, not a savant, but something along those lines. Like, he's obviously very clever, but he also seems to be just off kilter. I don't know. Doesn't forgive what he did, but it was an interesting story. And as if you're a fan of the Ren and Stimpy show, worth the watch, I thought. It was interesting. It was definitely interesting. I watched Power Pill on Netflix, and I thought it was pretty ordinary. I don't know if you guys caught either of that.
Yeah. Project Power.
It was alright.
Yeah, pretty ordinary. Yeah, I nearly switched it off, but didn't. I caught up with, at last, The Dead Won't Die, which is that Bill Murray, Adam Driver zombie flick. I understand why it didn't review well, like with critics. I think it's got a very, very particular type of sense of humor, and it's probably very much a minority, and if you don't get it, you won't get it. I thought it was hilarious. I loved it. But I get the feeling, not that I'm trying to say it's some sort of, like Rick and Morty where you have to be intelligent or some highbrow shit. I'm not that naive. I just think it's a very specific type of humor aimed at a very specific audience. I just happen to be, I think, in that demographic. But I completely understand why most people watch it and go, this is fucking terrible. But I got a hoot out of it. That was fun. Lovecraft Country, I've watched the first episode. We're not going to do any spoilers on that. The second episode's out tonight. I thought it was really good. Really, really liked it. The only little gripe I had was it uses some modern style music, some hip-hop sort of stuff, which just seems odd when you're laying it over the top of sort of 1950s. But apart from that, acting was superb. Sets were great. The props and the costumes and everything was great. So super keen to watch the second episode, hopefully tonight. And then incidentally, I started watching Community because I'd never watched it. We're sort of halfway through the second season of that.
So good.
It took a while. The first 2-3 episodes really didn't grab me, and then it sort of picked up. Yeah.
Stop when Donald Glover leaves. That's all you really need to watch.
Which was about season 5, if I'm not mistaken. I think.
Yeah.
Season 5.
Yeah, and I nearly finished watching the first season of the Hannah TV series on Amazon, which wasn't bad. It's not. The only problem with it doesn't know if it's trying to be a teen Hunger Games or if it's trying to be Jason Bourne, and it's sort of got moments of both. And for me, because of my age, when I'm watching it, when you have the Jason Bourne moments, it's really good. And then when it has the the Hunger Games style teenagey moments, you just get frustrated with it. I do. So it's not bad though, and if you've got nothing else on the horizon, probably worth a watch if you haven't already. Okay, I'm gonna just quickly bang out some reviews, spoiler-free reviews for TENET because none of us have seen it yet. We've got advanced screenings here in Australia at the moment, but there's still a lot of COVID concerns and a few other things, and I was sort of eyeing it off, and then I saw a number of posts on Facebook, and it kind of put me off, actually, so the first one is I just copy-pasted. This is a review from a chap on my Facebook. I don't want to name names, but, it's his words, and credit to him. He's done a number of film reviews for other sites, but he says, incoherent mess of ideas and baffling storytelling with endless missed opportunities for a better approach. There's a root of a good idea in there, but it grew into something deformed. Make of that what you will. And then our own Jay, who's on the team. He's also in theatre in Sydney there. He's very passionate about movies and films. Probably nearly, I'd say, was almost as passionate as Jesse, or if not more so. He banged out a quick sort of 100-worder for us, which I'm just going to splash down here. There's nothing that brings out the general audience and young wannabe filmmakers and film lovers like a Christopher Nolan. The man can mix old-school blockbuster appeal of a classic Amblin Spielberg joint, but with a take on sci-fi that's dense and sprawling. As Nolan has gotten more and more confident with the worlds he creates, and as he maintains almost unheard of creative control over his films, some of his movies are bursting with glaring potholes or contrivances that threaten to derail the experience. Tenet is the bubble pop of Christopher Nolan's creative output, a movie so devoid of heart and soul that it becomes all flair with no substance. Without going into the plot, which is needlessly more complicated than any plot needs to be, the film has no real hook as a viewer to even care about anything that occurs over its almost Herculean length of the film. He goes on to say, Robert Pattinson at least has an opportunity to remove the Twilight hate from the general audience, although art house film lovers have been won over by him ages ago, which bodes well for the Batman, but I can't imagine this film having great word of mouth like Inception or Memento. Nolan has done time-based films on the future, the past, and how the passage of time changes on the viewer. This movie is the one about the waste of time. Pretty damning, and obviously there's going to be a lot of reviews online of people who love it, but it's certainly, for the first time that I can think of with Nolan's films, really seems to have splintered the audience. So I guess we're all just going to have to see it and make up our own minds.
Interesting too, because I know the Rotten Tomatoes score at the minute it's 80%. So,
yeah.
And then at the minute I think it's specifically top critics. The top critic split is 13-3, which is about 85%, something like that. So
I'm just going on what I saw on social media, brother. And
just again, like you said, the divide's just really interesting. So
yeah.
It looks like it's a movie that was made for critics, but I'm going to see it this weekend. I'm a massive Christopher Nolan fan.
I'll see it eventually too.
For over a year, so
yeah, and I think it's just a case. It is going to be one of those films where I think you're just going to have to see it and make up your own goddamn mind, really. Anyway, so that's.
I want to be told what to think.
Yeah, right. So that's Tenet, and if you, it's in a spoiler-free nutshell. There are positive reviews out there. I just thought I'd share those because I said Jay is on our team. And he's done a number of film reviews for us. He does the Sydney Film Festival for us every year, so he knows his stuff. And I just thought I'd share that because I really did too want to show a sort of perhaps a counterbalanced opinion because I'm fairly certain Lucas will come back next episode and he'll have perhaps a more positive review. So it was good. I'd like to be able to offer both sides so that our listeners can sort of make their own mind up. But ultimately, at the end of the day, just go see it yourself and make up your own mind. So that's Tenet. I guess now it's time to really move into the DC news, and we do have a fair bit to talk about here. There's been some great trailers, some great announcements. There's a bit that we could probably theory craft on. So let's just dive straight into it. Where do we start, Ethan?
First, we start off at Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah, so when is this landing? Do we have any local release dates now, or is it still up in limbo?
Give me a second.
I think it's October.
Right.
Supposed to be 13th of August, but it's been pushed out.
October.
Sorry, 3rd of October?
1st of October.
1st of October, okay. So about, just over a month.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, yep. Okay, so
the trailer showed us Cheetah, Kristen Wiig's Cheetah character. That we also had a bit more on the plot and what's going on with Maxwell Lord and how Steve Trevor can be back. That's all hinted at in the trailer.
Didn't we know all that, or did we just read spoilers?
Theory crafting.
Yeah, we theory crafted.
Okay, I thought we knew that there was a device that granted wishes.
It's not quite that.
Okay. I don't want to dive into any spoiler territory, but that's what I kind of thought there was something going on in regards to that.
Yeah.
Did I just drop a huge spoiler?
Not really.
No, isn't that what you get from the trailer? Or trailers? Kinda. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're so in a way, this drought is probably working for Wonder Woman because I know I kind of wrinkled my nose at it for a while because it just, I don't know, something about it didn't quite ring true, but we're so starved now that you're ready to devour just about anything, so maybe it's worked in its favour.
Yeah.
Maybe. You going to go and see it at the cinema?
Nah, probably not.
Probably drive-in, yeah.
Drive-in for you? Okay.
we also got a trailer for the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh
And
boy.
watching it now, so it obviously opens up with a shot of Darkseid, and then it goes over a destroyed, what you can assume is the Justice League headquarters, which I didn't notice has Wonder Woman's shield lying there, Aquaman's trident stuck into the stone, there, and then in front of the screen, a Joker card flies up in front of the screen as parademons fly over, which I didn't notice initially and watching it again now.
Wait, what? What did you say? Joker?
Like a Joker playing card flies in front of the screen.
Oh!
Do you remember that Superman had a Joker playing card strapped to his gun in the nightmare sequences? It's like that.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, they might change the dream sequence slightly.
Well, yeah, so I think...
Jared Leto return confirmed.
Zack Snyder did confirm a while back that we are getting more nightmare sequences. We're getting that. They're already shown the original design of Steppenwolf. We've already seen that was shown in the trailer, and he looks fucking cool. Deleted scenes with Flash, expanding him a bit more. Flash traveling through the Speed Force. We had
a lot more cyborg stuff too in that.
Because that's the thing. Like a lot of cyborg stuff was cut, and
heaps. His dad is only in the theatrical cut for like seconds, I think. And in this one we see a lot more. And I think we see the football scene as well with him, and heaps more stuff. It's great.
Well, if memory serves you right, he was supposed to be an integral part of the Justice League story.
Yeah.
Like when Snyder was talking about it, the reason why Cyborg was brought in was because he was essentially the key, which makes sense as well. If obviously we know our story with him being birthed of the mother box and etc.
Yeah.
It made sense that he would obviously be a central character to the story, and to a point it was one of those things where he's like, oh, he's been made into a freak because of this box and stuff, and now he has to find his calling. Where this version, it's going to delve deeper into the relationship with his father and how he was the jock at school, and now college, and now he's this deformed guy that has to try and again find his purpose. So
Zack Snyder did confirm that it is 4 hours long and will be dropping in 4 1-hour segments. And
when did that come out?
During the Snyder Cut panel at FanDome.
That it was dropping in 4 1-hour slots.
Yeah, he said that. He confirmed it. He said it himself. I watched it.
Bro, I missed that completely. I didn't even hear that.
No, I started watching the FanDome right as the Snyder Cut shit happened, and he said that it comes in 4 1-hour parts. I mean, if you did that as well, like you still.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing from 3 a.m. almost.
Oh, okay.
So I completely missed that he'd even announced that. That's how it was coming. I mean, that's cool. Like the Snyder Cut initially, the Snyder Cut, that the picture that he shared on Vero last year, back earlier this year, was 214 minutes, which is almost 4 hours. Yeah. So yeah, that's awesome. I'm fucking hyped about that.
I do hope we get a Blu-ray release though. I really do.
Well, he also said right after he said it dropping in 4 1-hour parts is that they are trying to find international distribution for it because no one else in the world has HBO Max.
Correct.
So they are working on someone to pick up international distribution for it. So that could be like, I would say Netflix will probably get it. It'll be Netflix or Amazon, one of those.
Nah, it'll be Binge and Foxtel because they have the HBO rights. So anything that's made by HBO will go straight to Foxtel.
Maybe we'll see.
No, it will. It will. They have HBO. They have all the HBO rights.
This might exist outside of that initially.
No, not if it's being produced by HBO. I can guarantee you it will go to Foxtel and it will go to Binge.
But I do hope for a Blu-ray release personally. That would be nice. I'd like
that would be nice. I 100% I would like to have that.
Especially if we can get some making of stuff in there as well and commentary. I think that would be very enlightening and interesting.
I would love to see some behind the scenes.
Very much so.
Of Warner basically greenlighting this.
Yeah, that'd be interesting too.
They've got to be having cameras with the amount of hype that this thing has had. You've got to know there's been cameras behind the scenes, being like, Snyder meeting with Warner Brothers executives, being, hey, we're going to green like this, blah blah blah, and
yeah.
That the stars as well have been talking behind the scenes as well, like between themselves. So they've obviously must have known for a while that this was happening. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I think definitely it's going to come to Foxtel and Binge over here for sure.
Next, we have the Flash panel, which was Andy Andy Muschietti was there. He confirmed that Michael Keaton will definitely be coming back, and also an additional Batman, which dropped just a couple of days before the FanDome, but that is Ben Affleck will be coming back as his Batman for the film as well.
This is some fantastic news.
It sounds like Affleck 2 is going to be a bit more of a mentor.
Yeah.
As well.
Like an emotional sort of like for like guide sort of character for Barry.
Yeah, he sounds like he's going to be the Harrison Wells of Flash in the movies, but obviously not bad. They also showed off some concept art too, and showed off the new Flash outfit, and said that Bruce Wayne built it for him and stuff. So like it's all Wayne tech, which is really cool.
Yeah, but which Bruce Wayne? Is it Ben Affleck?
I would assume it would be Ben Affleck. I'm assuming Ben Affleck might be a glorified cameo, and that Flash is going to be traversing the multiverse.
They said he plays like a big part of
he's the baseline. He's the baseline
story.
Yeah, he's the.
Yeah.
I mean, but you can also play a major part in a film and only be a cameo.
I feel like it'll be a cameo.
I would like to ask the question though here. I mean, this is wild fan speculation, but do you think there's any chance that we could see big or small, more likely small, cameos from Christian Bale or Robert Pattinson?
I feel like Christian Bale would be a no.
So unfortunately, Lucas's internet just exploded into a ball of fire and fell off a cliff. So we're going to have to finish this episode without him, which is a real pity because I'm sure he would have had some fantastic insights and opinions. But we've got to mush on and finish this episode. So yeah, do you think we might see Christian Bale or Robert Pattinson in this Flash movie?
I don't feel like we'll see either one, really. I feel like Christian Bale will probably be reluctant to return, and I feel like it's too early for Robert Pattinson to have any appearance in this.
Yeah. I don't think we'll get Bale either, but I would like to see just like a hint, like sort of as Barry's rushing through the timeline and he's looking, he might just see a glimpse of Pato, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, they did that with the Flash TV show. When he goes through the Speed Force, they showed the old 1990 series Flash that buzzed past him, and like one of the times he goes to the Speed Force.
That sort of thing would be cool. I mean, even in Doctor Who, if we like quickly jump out there and you sort of see that episode before Capaldi came on board, he cameoed briefly in the anniversary. So I'd sort of like to see something like that. What about I think it'd be kind of neat though if we get some sort of reference to the Adam West Batman as well. That'd be kind of nice.
Yeah. Well, also because they had the DC TV shows, so like Arrow and Flash.
So the young fella in Gotham.
Well, no. What I'm saying is like that they had the whole Arrowverse Flash series and Arrow and Supergirl and that. They're all connected. But it was an episode where pretty much, this is spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it, but it's been out for like almost a year now. During the Crisis one, the whole multiverse got destroyed, and it was just Barry and the Speed Force. But he met Ezra Miller's Flash in one of the episodes. Like Ezra Miller Flash actually came in and spoke to him and all that sort of stuff, and he's like, "Oh yeah," and like the TV show Barry was like, "Oh, I'm the Flash," and Ezra Miller's like, "The Flash?" He hadn't named himself the Flash yet in the movies. And they had a multiverse panel at DC FanDome where they confirmed that Ezra Miller's Flash gets the idea to call himself the Flash from the TV version.
Right. Okay. So they're really connecting everything.
Yep. And even when Ezra Miller meets the TV Flash, he even says, he's like, "Oh, I think Victor said this was possible," referencing Cyborg.
Yeah, okay.
And Cyborg's been a big rumored character for the Flash movie, but they didn't confirm anything about him being in it at DC FanDome either. So
yeah, it's really exciting. I'm super. I mean, it's not like I dislike Flash, and I think the actors in general who play him are great. I'm just not a massive Flash fan in terms of the character. I don't hate him or dislike him. I have other priorities, I guess. Like I've always been more of a Batman kind of guy, but this movie's got me hyped just for the potential, you know.
Well, next we also have Black Adam.
Yeah, now this is a teaser trailer, which looked largely animated. Like it didn't sort of.
It was done from Jim Lee and Boss Logic. They collaborated on it together.
Yes, and I guess it's just trying to introduce the character and explain who Black Adam is and what he's about.
Yeah, so you're going to have Black Adam, It's also going to have the Justice Society of America, where you'll have Atom Smasher, Hawkman, Cyclone, and Dr. Fate. But also, The Rock said that the power balance, or the hierarchy of power, is going to shift once he comes in, because he's quite on par with Superman. And at the end of the talk they had for it, he pretty much called out all the main superheroes, was pretty much like, hey, you want a fucking piece of Black Adam? Come get me.
It's the old wrestling days for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
yeah. Well, he also teased that there might be a conflict with him and Superman coming up as well. He heavily teased that.
That would be interesting.
Because he originally tapped the guy I mentioned before, Boss Logic. He's very well known in the past couple of years, because he just started off using Photoshop to mock up different actors as superheroes for like roles and all this sort of stuff. It was just what he was doing for fun. And he's the whole main reason why Joe Manganiello got cast as Deathstroke in Justice League and all that. Because someone typed up Joe Manganiello, and that was the first picture to pop up.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to come back into the DCEU at some point. I mean...
Yeah, well, he had more scenes in Justice League that were cut.
Yeah, so hopefully we get more of that, but hopefully the character then, continues in another film somewhere, because he's an interesting character.
Yeah. We had a little bit about Aquaman. They didn't say much other than James Wan said that Patrick Wilson's character will return in the sequel. That was pretty much all they said, as King Orm.
Fair enough.
We had Shazam 2, which is called Shazam Fury of the Gods.
Do we get to see any footage for that, or is it just
because they're still working on the script. Although Sinbad was there, and he kind of confirmed that he might have a role in the movie.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I loved the original Shazam. I was hyped for that since the first trailer, and I know you and Lucas, or one of you, maybe it was you, maybe it was Lucas, one of you was a bit like, I'm not convinced yet, but I was on board since then. And funnily enough, since then, I've had other people who were sort of keen on it now go back and go, I'm not so keen on it. I still think it's a great film.
Yeah, it was good,
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
And then we had a behind-the-scenes sort of B-roll footage, and also a roll call for the Suicide Squad. Letting us know who everyone's playing.
This is the James Gunn sequel, reboot kind of thing. We don't really know what it is. Is it we don't know? Is it a sequel, or is it a reboot, or is it a side call? Is it?
It's not a direct sequel to the other one.
It's DCEU bullshit then.
It's still sit within the same universe. It's not DCEU bullshit. It's still sit within the same universe. It's just not a direct sequel to that.
Okay. I gotta say though, I as much as I'm super keen for what they're doing in the multiverse shit, it's also a convenient way for them to explain how we're just going to give you 16 Joker films in a row or 16 Batman films in a row and not have to worry about connectivity.
There is some connectivity to it.
Okay.
But it's just not a direct sequel to the other one. Because I mean, you still have Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, and you still have Jai Courtney as Captain Boomerang, Joel Kinnaman as Rick Flag, and Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. They're all returning from the first one.
Right. Okay.
Playing the same characters they were then. You have John Cena playing Peacemaker, who loves peace so much he's for it.
He does what, sorry? He kills people for peace. Right.
Yeah, he loves peace so much he's willing to kill for it.
Nice.
You have Pete Davidson as Blackguard. He's got like this sort of like weird hammer and like this sort of super suit kind of thing in the comics anyway. Savant is played by Michael Rooker, who kind of looks like one of the twins from Matrix. I don't really know what he does. You have Sean Gunn, who you know as Kraglin from Guardians of the Galaxy, but he also did the app for Rocket.
Yeah.
He plays a character called Weasel, who's a human-sized weasel who looks completely fucked up.
I guess if he can play Rocket, then he can play a weasel, right?
You have Idris Elba as Bloodsport, who, in the panel, said he was thrown in jail because he shot a kryptonite bullet at Superman.
Oh.
It's a story on him they revealed at the panel.
Right, okay. That's neat.
Yeah. You have Peter Capaldi as the Thinker, who's a common Flash villain. He was actually in the Flash TV show.
Right.
He can just affect shit with his mind, really. Okay. Control electricity and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
He's pretty fucking powerful.
Okay, cool.
You have David Dastmalchian as the Polka Dot Man. David Dastmalchian, you'll notice, I can't remember what his name is, but he's in the two Ant-Man movies as the Russian guy who's
the weird looking chap.
Scott Lang's friend.
Yeah. He's also in the Nolan Batman. He's in Dark Knight as the one of the shooters that dressed up as a cop.
I'm pretty sure he's in Dune as well.
He's in what? Sorry.
Dune.
Oh, the new one. Yeah. He'll be one of the Mentats. He's just a creepy, weird-looking guy. I'm sure he's a lovely dude in real life. But he has a creepy, weird look to him.
Yeah. Well, he appeared in the Flash TV show, and he was also in Gotham. So he's getting around.
Yeah.
So he's got polka dots on his body that he can remove, and they can explode and do a bunch of weird other shit.
Okay, that's an interesting one.
You have Daniela Melchior as Ratcatcher 2. She can command an army of rats.
Okay. Some weird superpowers there.
Yeah. You have Flula Borg, who you know from Pitch Perfect 2, if you've seen that.
No.
He plays a character called Javelin, who used to be I think he was an Olympic javelin thrower. And he got into a bit of a kerfuffle with Green Lantern.
Oh, okay. That's a pretty serious kerfuffle.
Yeah. You have Mei Ling as Mongao, who's an alien. And then you have Nathan Fillion as TDK. Now, TDK isn't a character in the comics.
Okay.
But he's also known as the Detachable Kid. But in the comics, he's called Arm Fall Off Boy, so he can tear off his limbs and use them to beat people up and put his limbs back together on.
Okay, so this is an R-rated movie?
Yeah, I think it is an R-rated movie.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, okay. What a cast.
Oh, yeah, and we also had Steve, I think it's Steve G, who played one of the Ravagers in Guardians of the Galaxy. He did the motion capture for King Shark.
Okay.
Now King Shark, no one's been confirmed to voice or anything for King Shark, but the big rumor at the moment is that Taika Waititi, who's in the film, is going to be the voice for King Shark.
Okay. All right.
That's the big rumor at the moment.
Okay. Cool.
So following on from that...
So when does that come out? I mean, that's still in production, or...?
It's next year.
Next year? Okay.
They're pretty much doing post. They're doing post on it for it now.
Okay. Well, hopefully, look, if nothing else, hopefully it's a shitload better than the first one.
I'm sure it will be, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we had a trailer for The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, well, Lucas isn't here, but when we saw this trailer drop, his first response was, "Holy fuck."
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was blown away. I mean, you know, we've spoke about Pattinson before. I'm a fan. Obviously, I've seen some of his art house stuff and a few of his other flicks. I think he's an amazing actor, and I was quietly confident that he would do well in this part. And I've seen this trailer now, and I feel that's all the confirmation I needed that he's going to be great in this part. It looked great.
That was for me too. I wasn't looking forward to the movie. I was like, okay. But after watching that trailer and him, I'm like, okay, yeah, this looks pretty good. I'm excited for this now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going through. I'm just watching the Nolan trilogy again. Actually, I'm about halfway through Dark Knight Rises, and while they're definitely a mature story, and they're not kitty, this. I don't know. I get almost a slight feeling that this might be just a touch darker.
It might be, yeah.
I mean, the city itself looks dark and gothic, which is great because Gotham is supposed to be dark and gothic.
But we also don't know if this is going to be like Nolan and be gritty and realistic, or if we're actually going to get metahumans and all the rest of it in there. We don't know what we.
True that. I mean, the fact that you see him take the mask off and he still has eye makeup on, and I know it sounds so silly, but that says to me realistic, not sort of comic book superhero, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because you sort of look at Christian Bale's Batman, and every time he's got the mask on, you can see he's got massive swathes of black makeup on his face. But you never see him take the mask off and have the black makeup on his face still.
So it'd be an Netflix one as well.
Exactly. And I would love to see... I don't want to see I don't want to see a hard R Batman for the sake of violence or boobs or something. But having that kind of real gritty... Like, the Joker, to me, wasn't great because it was art. It was great because it tried to be absolutely grounded in reality. And when everything is grounded in reality, then the fantasy element becomes more believable.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that there's a fellow who's worth billions running around fighting crime is ridiculous. It's unbelievable. You know, it's like, why don't you just let him cast a fireball? But when you ground the entire thing, everything else is grounded in absolute reality. It makes that fantasy more believable. And if we can get something and which is what I think the Netflix Marvel shows did really well. They were absolutely grounded in reality. I felt like, people got, like, you watch those Daredevil episodes and you see him fighting in the corridors and he gets tired. You know what I mean? That showed a degree of reality. He got bruised and bashed and hurt and bloody. I want to see that story for Batman. I really want to see that story for Batman. I want to see the humanity of it, I guess, and not the super humanity of it. I don't know if that's what we're going to get, but yeah. And obviously, this is a younger Batman. I think you mentioned that Matt Reeves said this is the second year of the character.
Second year being Batman, yeah.
So this is a Batman who's going to be a very stark contrast to Affleck in that he's still young and he's probably still very, very angry.
Yeah.
He hasn't had that time to temper that anger, and that's why he says, I'm vengeance. I'm not justice. I'm vengeance. I'm here to fuck you up. And that's kind of exciting. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think this is a great trailer. And I'm very keen to see, what Matt Reeves and what Robert Pattinson can bring to the film, to the franchise, really.
Yeah. So that's all we've got.
Good stuff, though. It was a great panel. Do you think we've hit a point where Warner Brothers has kind of perhaps realized they've made some pretty fucking heinous mistakes, and we're now seeing the upturn of DC? Are we on the cusp of DC returning to form?
I'd say we are, yeah.
I hope so.
Definitely.
I mean, because as moviegoers, as fans, we don't have to have Marvel beats DC or DC beats Marvel. In a perfect world, they're both pumping out top quality stuff.
Yeah.
That would be ideal. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, obviously, Batman has no date yet. It's even the trailer says in production
next year. Yeah.
Did you even notice very carefully where they put the question marks? I mean, I know they're alluding to Riddler, but at the same time, they put the question mark on the final digit. And I'm like, so they're hoping 2021, right? But if this COVID shit doesn't piss off, nobody's going to get upset if we slide into 2022. Yeah. All right, yeah, well, so it was a great panel. If you didn't get to see it, we'll have the links to all these trailers in the article. Head over to the Pixel Pop Network website and you'll be able to view them all, find them all in one place. It's a lot more convenient than browsing YouTube. Although that Batman trailer is currently #1 on trending. There's no surprise there. What's coming in the next sort of 2 to 3 weeks on the streaming services and at the cinema? Please, kind sir.
A whole lot. There's Bill and Ted 3 coming
at the cinema. Yep.
We've got The Boys. Season 2 is out next week.
Episode 1 and 2 or something, isn't it? Didn't we learn that we're only going to get the first 2 or 3 off the bat, and then it's
we get the first 3 or 4, and then it's weekly. Apparently, I haven't actually seen it anywhere yet, but that's apparently what it is.
Okay, well, we'll wait and see. Hopefully, we get. I'd like the whole lot, but if not, oh well. It seems to be that we're going that way because they've realised that it's with so many services now, they need to give you a reason to stick around.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. The Boys too. Keen for that.
Boys is not really a whole lot. It's another slow time.
Really? Okay. Wow. So we're gonna hit another quiet spot at the cinema, or?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's New Mutants is out next week. No, 2 weeks away. But we're not sure if we'll get to see that or what. With everything still going on.
Oh, let me just head over to my local. So what do we got? Cutthroat City, 27th of August, and then. Stuff listed. Oh yeah, New Mutants 3rd of September. Quiet Place Part 2. Why is that listed at the cinema? Interesting.
I don't know. That's been delayed till next year.
Yeah, it doesn't have a date. And then they're still doing stuff like Star Wars Episode 5. They're still rerunning older stuff. There's that looks crap. Conjuring 3.
Yeah.
September 2020.
Next year.
Oh,
it's been delayed.
Delayed. Okay, so this website is obviously incredibly out of date. Yeah, well, when's Kingsman coming? That got pushed back as well, I guess.
Yeah,
American Pickle? That's listed here as 24th of September. Is that still a thing? That's Seth Rogen.
On HBO already. It's already out on HBO Max.
Right, didn't hit the cinemas. Right, okay. Yeah, and then we've got, according to this, Death on the Nile is 8th of October, but we should be back before then. So, and then you got, so October, it looks like things are going to start. Yeah, October's definitely the month for things to get back to normal cinema here in Australia, at least, provided you're probably not in Victoria, with, Wonder Woman, Death on the Nile, Candyman, and Black Widow. So,
I think Candyman got next year, I think.
Yeah, actually, I think you're right too. It did. Yeah. All right. Well, we're just going to have to hope that we see. We've got The Boys too. Hopefully, we'll see. And of course, you should be watching Lovecraft Country if you're not already. So there is some stuff there at the moment. Now's the time to still sort of, you've got Binge, you've got Shudder now. Might be the time to sort of look at one of the new streaming services to just sort of tide you over the next month or two. But for those in Australia, Victoria is now sub 200 infections per day, which is still horrendously high, but it's a lot lower than what it was. So fingers crossed that, another month or so, and we can hopefully have some kind of normality out there, and we'll get back to the movies, back to the cinema, and Hollywood can get back to filming, and we can start getting all these movies and TV shows back on the screens, because we need to keep our sanity. So, all right, then. Well, that's it for this episode. Real pity that unfortunately, as I said, Lucas's internet died near the end there, because I'm sure he would have had plenty of interesting things to add to that DC section, but we'll hopefully get him back next episode. Thanks for all the news and doing all your homework this episode, Ethan.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. And thank you to all our Patreon supporters as well, help make this podcast possible. Contributions are hugely appreciated. They let us keep our SoundCloud premium account so we can have all of the episodes up here at once, so you could go back and see if we knew what we were talking about 2 years ago or whatever. We'll be back probably in another 3 weeks. Again, it's just because of this COVID, it's just not enough to do the regular fortnightly show, so it'll probably be about another 3 weeks. Meanwhile, stay indoors, stay healthy, and hopefully we'll catch you in the next episode. Vengeance.